There will be a point if you just before the game set some certain markers that you might look for that you're interested in. You also, of course, have to get a feel for the game. You do have to pay attention to what's actually going on. Like, I don't think there was any point that you were like going, man, you know what? Maybe I should take Virginia last night if you were watching Virginia Tech. In fact, that's a game that I never got a feel on. That I finally 7 minutes into the second half was like, there's nothing with this game I'm comfortable in taking. I mean, it was just the games like that, just when they get completely out of hand, I don't know. They're the ones that are harder, I feel like, in some aspects, especially like overs and unders. You'll be like, oh, man, there's 5 minutes left in the ball game. You can give up 26 points. Neither team, they're just going to walk that junk down. No. The other team's calling timeouts in the final 50 seconds and fouling still and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. It'll make a man go absolutely mad. But again, we are talking a lot of college basketball today. We're going to talk about the Memphis Tigers. What are they going to do? We're going to talk about the SEC, Big 12. How impressed were you? How impressed was David with Houston last night? We got Zach Bully joining us today at 12 o'clock. We'll talk all things NBA All-Star Game, the Grizzlies, what's going down in the NBA. Mike Conley gets a contract. We're going to break down a whole bunch, but I also want to ask him this. And this is something when thoughts come into your head and you're like, man, I wonder if anybody else thinks what I'm thinking. Well, it's a good thing I have a radio station because I can ask these stupid questions for myself. But the NBA All-Star, the NFL Pro Bowl, even the MLB All-Star Game, which I do still like it a lot better than the other. NHL, I'm not sure about the NHL because I'm not a hockey watching fool. Every once in a while, I'll get a little bit of a wild hair, and I'll start gambling on hockey because I'll find some dude who's like picking hockey winners. Like last year, man, my brother found this dude. He hit like 5 hockey games in a row. I jumped all up on this joint. And then he got to like 6 wins. He got to 7 wins. I'm pounding it. And then he went like on a 4-game losing streak and gave it all back to him.
How it goes.
Like, damn, dude, why didn't I jump off while I was good? But I can't say much about the NHL All-Star Game, but I don't get too upset. One way, like, I'm not like, damn, man, they ruined the Pro Bowl. Can't believe they playing flag football out there and doing skill challenges. I don't care. I really don't. I know Eli Manning and Peyton Manning are part of it. It's something to have fun. I feel like it's more for the kids. I mean, oh my gosh, can we not have something for the kids? Cool.
Great point, John. Great point.
Like if you're 12 years old and you're a little kid and you play ball and you look up to these people like they are your heroes and you just want to be like them and emulate them. And you see them in their pads and stuff, and now you get to see them go do these skills challenges, and they all get to talk and interact. It is just a different way of consuming these professional athletes, which I think a lot of people like my age, those who are gamblers, those who just love one specific team, there is different types of fandom. But, man, there's nothing like that childlike innocence where you just find a player and you love them.
That's a great point, John, because the two groups of people that are not complaining about the All-Star Game from
Children.
Sunday night, my 12-year-old cousin and the people that were in attendance of the All-Star Game over the weekend.
Oh, good point.
Those are the people that aren't, because you go to the All-Star Game to see all the players. You don't care what they're doing.
Exactly.
You just want to see the stars. And then the children who this is marketed to is they just want to see. I mean, they don't care. They're not going, oh, man, look, LeBron James isn't playing lockdown. My 12-year-old cousin isn't saying, LeBron James, no lockdown defense. He's going, wow, did you see that half-court shot? And I was like, holy cow, that was awesome. Yeah, I mean, so two great points by you, John.
Thank you. I appreciate you actually saying that. I don't get many compliments here at work, so thank you, Dave, because that felt great.
You're welcome.
But I didn't realize how many people were actually complaining about the All-Star Game until I got off work yesterday.
Everybody and their mother, John. It was like the one thing, and Brett always makes this joke, like, you can't get a third of the country to agree that today's Tuesday, but I'm pretty sure 95% of the country was in agreement yesterday that the All-Star Game was bad. I mean, I saw it everywhere.
See, and I guess, man, because I'm not going to lie to you. I told you when I came in here yesterday, I watched the highlights on like Scott Van Pelt. I don't even know if it was SVP.
Sports Center or
Sports
Twitter.
Center,
you
Sunday
saw,
night.
because
I'm
you were
just,
watching the,
Monday through the week,
the Draymond and Chuck, so you kind of saw the
I
highlights
saw a
in the
little bit of
background
that,
while you
yeah.
were doing that. Yeah.
I'm just consuming my sports in a little bit different way. And plus, I was also watching tons of college basketball and gambling on it, on Sunday, especially after the makeup I had to for, some terrible mornings that I had. But my point is I was not offended. I didn't care. I did kind of mention damn, dude, one team scored 200 points. It was a 400-point game. Holy cow. Obviously there wasn't a lot of defense out there, just kind of talking, killing a little time. But there are some people who are really ticked off about this. In fact, I found a few articles and I listened to a few actually of some friends of mine who could not get off how mad they are. And it was also, and I feel like I actually helped this out because I did make the statement was, back when I was young though, when you were watching Bird and Magic and hell all the way to as recently as Kobe Bryant when he was playing in it, those fourth quarters got really serious. You know what I mean? These dudes wanted to win, but that was just our childhood. Today it is a little bit different, but again, I am not so offended that I need to go out there and drop, 5,000 words about how the NBA player doesn't care about the past, how they're not, what's going to happen to the game in the future if this is how they treat their All-Star game. I mean, no offense, dude. A man and a woman did the 3-point competition and instead of again, 10 years, 15 years ago, that never even probably would have happened.
Right.
But I didn't hear people complain about that, and I actually figured I'd hear more. Kenny Smith, I heard got a little bit of heat.
He was on one.
He was on one this weekend or something. But I mean, I don't know, man. The fact that people were completely going off about how the NBA is ruining this, and that it's going to hurt their brand. And I don't know, I mean, how can an all-star game realistically hurt your brand? Because again, it's something that's geared towards children.
Johnny, let me pitch something to you of what I think the all-star game should do that I think helps everybody.
Do I agree? By the way, hold on. I do think this. I think if out of all the all-star games, baseball and the NBA have the opportunity to have the best competition if they really care about winning.
Sure.
Because football, you can get hurt. Baseball, but the other thing about baseball though is pitching. I don't want
if
my stud is at the All-Star game, man, that manager throws him more than an inning, I'm going to be ticked at that manager.
Well, I think it's also so different. I don't think you can compare the NBA All-Star game and the Major League Baseball All-Star game because I feel like they're so different because you've got, baseball is really, most of the time it's a one-on-one battle between pitcher and hitter, and those pitchers are going an inning at most. Sometimes they're just going 2/3 of an inning. That's
also what scares me too, because they're going out there instead of going out there in their regular routine, throwing 85%,
right?
Rarely ever going back and going 90%. Sometimes in those All-Star games, those juices get up, and then you're standing there with Bryce Harper, and you're like, I'm gonna, I want to get Bryce, and you go out there next thing you're 100% max velocity,
right? And so I don't think you can compare those. I really think, and you can't compare the NBA All-Star Game with the Pro Bowl because the Pro Bowl is at the end of the season for all these guys. They're not playing any more games, and their season's done. They used to spend the weekend in Hawaii, right? Now they're in Las Vegas and whatever, and then they everything's done. I think the best one-to-one comparison for the NBA All-Star Game is the NHL All-Star Game. Very similar, both in the middle of the season, both, kind of it's the same thing of, we're in this grueling season, we get this 1 week off, we have to come participate in the All-Star Game. You see on both sides there are some people that are not happy to be there. They don't want to go 100% because they don't want to risk injury. They're already worn out from the regular season. So this is what the NHL does, and I think it's what the NBA should do. And you've already kind of seen it in the All-Star, or in the Rising Stars game for the NBA. The NHL, they have 4 captains. One, I think, is usually from the host city, but also this year was in Toronto, and Austin Matthews was one of the captains, and he's one of the best players in NHL. So I don't know if that's actually how they do it or not, but they have 4 captains, and those 4 captains draft teams. And I think it's about 8 players per team, and they played 3-on-3 hockey with a goalie. So it's 4-on-4 on the whole time.
What? 5-on-5.
It's usually 5-on-5 with a goalie, and so 6 guys on the ice at a time is regular. But they did it just 3 guys on the ice. I think that's what the NBA should do. I think they should have captains, so you have like LeBron, Giannis, Jokic.
Do a little 3-on-3 tournament.
Do a 3-on-3 tournament. Have 4 teams start at 3-on-3 because I think when you saw the Rising Stars game, I watched a little bit of it because I wanted to see Vince Williams Jr. When it got to the end. And it was like, we've got to win this game to get to the finals. You didn't see guys like all-out Duke defense, slapping the ground, full court press. But these guys were, they wanted to get to that final game. They wanted to win. And so I think it gives you a little bit of that. And also, I think it's like a fun way of like, this isn't super serious 5-on-5 basketball. This is just like 3-on-3, pick up, fast pace, score a lot of points, maybe play a little defense here and there. I think that's the way you should
Plus,
do it.
you could have it more mic'd up. You could instead of playing in the full court, you could play half court and have them check it up so they can talk a little trash back and forth. Because again, we have an 82-game regular season plus the playoffs. Like, I get enough night after night after night after basketball. And again, for the All-Star break in the NBA All-Star game for me is actually it's a moot point because again, I don't care one way or the other, and I like your idea, but I saw like 50 ideas. Like, and again, one idea that I always think is poor and does not help the argument is paying the players more money to compete.
Yeah.
I saw so many people saying, well, if you just would say to the winning team, each player gets $1 million, then they compete. Bro, let me tell you something.
Yeah,
like, that all kind of rubs me the wrong way in one aspect because I'm like, damn, so you have to pay them extra to promote their brand, to give them an award, to say, hey, man, we want to recognize you for being one of the best in the world at your craft. Like, I don't want to have to pay them to go play hard, and I just don't feel like just the financial incentive is going to be something like, dude, these guys, hey, man, tonight you're going to watch the All-Star game? The winning team, they each get $1 million.
Yeah.
It doesn't do it for me. I love the 3-on-3 idea.
Yeah.
There were a bunch of other ideas that I've heard, and again, I think so far, actually, believe it or not, I did not hear the 3-on-3 until you just dropped it. I think it's one of the best ones I've heard.
Thank you.
I have to say, I really do like it the more I look at it and listen to it. There was one dude who actually put out there is, with the fact that they're shooting half-court shots and all these, put a 4-point shot on the All-Star game. Again, don't gimmick the game up to. I don't know, man. Like, I don't need them shooting more of them. But I'm also not this because there's a quote that I did write down that I thought it was an absolute insane. And it was basically, the NBA is staring down a barrel. What do we do to make the All-Star game better before it devalues the NBA as a whole? And then he goes on and he talks about Sunday's debacle. Goes on, his All-Star game is not bad. It's just terrible. In fact, to be fair, if it was bad, that would be saying a lot. Goes on to talk about Bird, Magic, yada, yada, the old times. Then he comes up with this one. He's like, dudes taking half-court shots, 6 seconds in the shot clock, make a mockery of the game, if you ask me. And, again, I'm just not that concerned about it to a point to where I'm going to be upset. Like, I'll tell you what I was upset about yesterday was watching the Tigers' piss-poor performance.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm going to get mad about somebody for not playing defense and not hustling, I can promise you it wasn't about that All-Star game. It was about the Memphis Tigers team whose season's already now basically destroyed without the tournament. I mean,
John, I saw an NIT bracket that
like
did not have Memphis in the NIT bracket.
Did
How about
you really?
that? I did. Yeah.
Ooh-wee,
CBI, here we come.
CBI. Man, it's tough days for Tiger fans, but we are going to. Again, the All-Star game I just wanted to bring up, and I just wanted to say, like, for those who are too upset about it, don't be.
But I think you've got to make it kind of gimmicky. Like
I like that.
The
I
Pro
think
Bowl
went 3-on-3 is the best
flag football,
idea.
3-on-3. Like you've got to make it not serious
Even
because then people
Super
won't take
Bowl,
it serious.
They put it on for kids now. The Slime TV show,
on Nickelodeon. Yeah,
yeah. Like I mean, like certain things you can go out there and get it done.
I'm with you.
But we're going to take a quick time out because this is very, very important. We have David Cobb. We're going to talk all things college basketball. I mean, can you believe March is just around the corner?
Crazy.
It's today Is today the 20th?
Today is the 20th. Yep.
Oh, baby. March Madness is around the corner. Also, we got to talk baseball today. Oh, my. Can you believe, like, Cody Bellinger, Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery? Like, these dudes are all still free agents that don't have a house. Mm-hmm. Oh, we're going to talk about that and so much more. So do me a favor, don't touch the dial. David Cobb's next on Sports 56 98.5 FM.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the Heindel Center for the Performing Arts for an evening with Cal Ripken Jr. February 22nd and celebrate a true champion. Ironman Cal Ripken Jr. played 2,632 consecutive games for the Baltimore Orioles. This 19-time All-Star, 2-time American League MVP, and Baseball Hall of Fame inductee is a true baseball icon. Get tickets at HeindelCenter.org to see Cal Ripken Jr. 7:30 p.m. Thursday, February 22nd at the Heindel Center for the Performing Arts on the campus of Northwest Mississippi Community College in Senatobia.
Mercedes-Benz hasn't just made the electric experience extraordinary, they've made it extra easy, too. The latest Mercedes Me Connect app lets you remotely track, locate, lock, unlock, preheat, or pre-cool your vehicle. You can even preset your route and check how much battery power is remaining, all from your smartphone. From the inspired EQE sedan to the boundlessly capable EQS SUV, every vehicle in the Mercedes-Benz electric portfolio comes equipped with the latest generation of AI-powered MBUX voice command technology on board. Whatever it is you need, whether it's a faster way to reach your destination, the location of the nearest fast charging station, a little extra heat in the cabin, or the best coffee shop in the area, all you have to say is, hey, Mercedes. The vehicles are all electric. The feeling's all Mercedes. The choice is all yours. Test drive a Mercedes-Benz electric model today at your local dealer or learn more at mbusa.com/EQ.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-254-5040. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-254-5040 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-254-5040 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-254-5040.
When a cold keeps you up, try NyQuil Severe Honey Flavor. The nighttime, sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, Honeylicious, best sleep with a cold medicine. Powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a dreamy honey taste to give your body the rest it needs to get that cold gone. Wake up refreshed, feeling relieved after enjoying the delicious flavor of NyQuil Severe Honey. NyQuil Severe Honey Flavor, use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
The only power source capable of generating 1.21 gigawatts of electricity is a bolt of lightning.
Now, back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy, Johnny Radio. Man, we got a little bit of hoops tonight. You know, yesterday was Big Monday. It's super Tuesday. Tennessee, Missouri, they play at 6 o'clock. You can catch that on the SEC Network. You got Connecticut, #1 in the country. The reigning national champs on the road against Creighton. Man, there's some good games tonight. We're also going to talk about what we saw this weekend, what we got coming down the pipe. But first, I got to work.
Creighton might be Houston High University. They've got 3 former Houston High players on it?
Three. They balling, man.
We might have to root for them tonight.
Dude, it depends on what David Cobb says. If he
That's
likes Creighton plus the 3.5.
Hard to bet against Creighton or against UConn right now.
Yeah, it's really hard to get bet against UConn. But again, that's why we get the expert.
They're only a
on
3-point favorite.
3.5.
Hard to win on the road, John. But
hard to win on the road. Not for UConn. It seems
that might be the lowest you might be able to get UConn like all year.
All
That's
season.
crazy.
All season long. But it's time to bring in the best. He is David Cobb, CBSSports.com, covers college football, college basketball. He covers it all. What's up, big dog?
What's up, man? Hey, I appreciate you thinking that I'm an expert and that I only give out winners.
You're a
but
wizard.
Actually, I don't know. I'm pretty sure last week I gave you 2 losers. I'm pretty sure I did.
No, you did. But hey, those were some very tough games.
We'll bounce back.
It's all right. Hey, I'm going to take 75% all day, every day.
Oh yeah,
okay?
David, you had Ole Miss last week. I forgot about that.
And that wasn't you that didn't show up. That was Ole Miss.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. I was on the right side. Ole Miss just let me down.
That's exactly that's exactly it. Got to bring up before I jump into anything. Just kind of first and foremost, covering the entire landscape of college basketball. I was thinking about this. There's some things that are embarrassing, like the fight last night with Incarnate Word and
That was
somebody
awesome.
else.
I was
That was
watching
a hell
that
of a
game.
brawl,
That was a
bro.
great game too. It was awesome.
Dude, those are 2 teams that were dead last in their conference.
Yeah, not very good. We had Incarnate Word money line. Didn't work out for us, but the brawl was worth it.
Yeah, and then next thing you know, you have a huge brawl like those. That's kind of embarrassing. You look at the situation going in over in Arkansas. Like if you're an Arkansas fan, that's probably a pain in your ass. But for right now, if I said the most embarrassing program in college basketball, would that not have to be the Memphis Tigers?
Wow. I was, as you were asking me that, I was kind of debating, am I going to go there? Am I going to go there? Because I think internally in the city, Memphis, it feels embarrassing what's happened to them this year. At least it's not to the level of, all-out brawls or some of the rumor mill stuff that's been going around on Arkansas that I'm not even going to get into, right? But I guess externally, from a national perspective on Memphis, they had their moment in the sun where they rose into the top 10. But honestly, I think the national perception is that this is what Memphis has been for the entirety of Penny Hardaway's tenure. I mean, they've been a 20-win fringe NCAA tournament team, a team that has really made no noise in March whatsoever. And that's just kind of what they are again. I think it's just more maddening to the people locally because of what they could have been this year and what it looked like they were going to be. And, it was almost to the point where maybe the rest of the country was really going to start paying attention to Memphis. And then they lost those 4 games in a row and have never gotten back on track. So I don't know. I don't know that I'd say Memphis is the most embarrassing team in the country. It's just they're certainly frustrating, though. It's just mind-boggling what's happened to them.
Yeah, it is mind-boggling, and maybe they're not the most embarrassing. I guess from me, a Tiger grad. My parents went to Memphis, from Memphis, Maine, and I saw that 10, and I got to where I was believing, I was drinking the Kool-Aid. It kind of reminded me of when I was a kid in 1985. You weren't around, never mind. There was a movie called Weird Science, and there was this woman in the movie called Kelly LeBrock. Best looking woman on planet Earth. Every single young fella like me was in love with her. This is in 1985. By the time it was 1993, some 8 years later, just a few years later, she had let herself go so bad that you didn't even recognize her. And you're like, what the hell?
You're describing Louisville. You're describing Louisville right now.
Oh, that's actually, you know what? That's a really good point. I forgot even completely about Louisville. Oh, gosh.
Yeah. See, it could be worse. It could be worse than where Memphis is at. I mean, Louisville's in the tank. I mean, DePaul is just so bad. There are some power. Michigan has it worse right now than Memphis. And you know what?
Dude, DePaul was in the Final Four in '79. DePaul has fallen far, haven't they?
And then let's talk about Michigan too, because it's the same situation. Honestly, you can make the parallel for Louisville, Michigan, and Memphis. They've all gone the route of hiring the revered former player who has Juwan Howard had a long NBA playing career. Penny Hardaway, long NBA playing career. Kenny Payne was an NBA assistant, longtime college assistant, well known and loved in Louisville. Well, like Louisville and Michigan have it worse right now than Memphis does because they're in the same situation as Memphis. It's just the results are even worse. I mean, at least Memphis is going to come out of this year having won 20 games, but Michigan, they're sitting here at 8-18, and I'm pretty sure Louisville's record is about the same. So it could be worse because those programs and their athletic directors they're one step closer to making the tough decision that Laird Beach is probably a year away from having to contemplate.
I wasn't planning to go here, but, when you started talking about the countries and we got into this whole embarrassment situation and, some people want to see Penny be more fiery, stick a foot up their keister, but, that's just not his personality. But, yesterday I forgot about this. Did you see the St. John's game this weekend, Seton Hall, St. John's?
I didn't see much of the game, but I sure saw the comments from Rick Pitino afterwards.
Oh, I had Seton Hall, so I thought the game was over. You know what I mean? I lost that bad boy. They came back and won that bad boy, a miracle. It was amazing. I appreciated it more than you can imagine. If I had St. John's, I would have been very ticked off, just as Coach Pitino was ticked off. I mean, they were up by 19 in the first half, and they only scored 21 points in the second quarter. They were just terrible. He goes out there and rips them, calls them non-athletic, yada, yada, yada. If you are, do you find that style, a lot of people were just, thought Rick Pitino's the worst human being in the world. I'm kind of wondering, is it just the times have changed and you can't do that anymore, or is there just you don't have any problem with it?
I mean, I'm sure Rick Pitino used to do that stuff all the time before the social media era, and it never got circulated nationally like it does in a matter of minutes when you do something like that now. And because of who he is and the market that he coaches in, it's going to be picked up pretty quickly, and people are going to make a big deal out of it. But it's just you don't see major college basketball coaches call out their players by name to the media and specifically talk about their weaknesses and their shortcomings. I mean, you just don't see that.
Dude, and that Dingle and Ledlam dude literally looked like they couldn't walk and chew gum in the second half, which made no sense to me.
Yeah, but what benefit do you gain from talking about that publicly? I mean,
it makes me feel better when I talk trash about somebody.
Right. Well, Bryant had a good point because we were talking about this yesterday, and he was like, well, in this era, you badmouth a player, you talk about a player, whatever. It used to be,
could lose them.
Well, yeah, you lose them now, and it used to be
that motivate them.
Right, and because if you were going to go somewhere else in the old days, you were going to have to sit out a year, whatever. Transferring was a lot more cumbersome. It was way more uncommon, and now it's like, all right, well, Rick, you made me mad. I'm going to go leave and go somewhere else, right? That's all there is to it. So, this is a coach that is sort of having to learn a new era of college basketball at age 70. I mean, I realize he was at Iona, so he understands how the rules have changed because he's been in college basketball. But it's on a different stage now at St. John's. Will it work? I don't know. I still think Rick Pitino will be successful, but I don't think he helped himself.
I just don't think he cares about being successful with this group of guys.
But these are his players, and he ran off good players to go and get these guys. Now he's complaining about them. I mean, it's ridiculous because it used to be you inherited the former coach's players, and they didn't fit your system, and it was excused that you were going to be bad for a year or two until you got your players in. Well, Rick Pitino got his players in with the snap of a finger in a couple of months in a way that you couldn't 10 years ago. And so for him to then go out and badmouth them, it just looks dumb.
I just love the fact that he said, our lateral quickness and our toughness is just something I've never witnessed in all my coaching years. We're so non-athletic that we can't guard anybody without fouling. I just, he went so far in. I was like, I don't know why. I loved it, and I guess because he's not talking about me.
Well, I mean, it is great. It's fantastic content, but, I just don't know if it's effective. Maybe it will be. Hey, don't put it past Rick Pitino to get St. John's on a run in the Big East tournament. I'm not predicting that necessarily, but who knows? I mean, maybe it turns out to be the fire they needed, and they go out and turn it around. It's just I'm skeptical.
Yeah, I'm a little skeptical. All right, now I got to get into a little bit of tonight before we start just kind of talking around the college basketball realm. Finally, UConn, first unanimous number one in the top 25 this season. They are bad to the bone. Wildly, though, right when they get that number one and they're unanimous, they're only like a 3.5-point favorite on the road against Creighton tonight, man. Who we liking, David?
Man, I find it very difficult to bet against UConn at the moment. This is the most dominant team in college basketball. And the fact that they're only a 3-point favorite, it tells you the
Shoot,
sort of
it
respect.
opened at 2.5, and I'm mad at myself for not, paying attention because I'm like, dude, it opened at 2.5. I'm like, that's wild.
Yeah, no, it is. So, I mean, Creighton's a good team, but they played UConn earlier this season. It was an ugly loss. So think about this. All right, the first time they played, UConn won by 14 points, and now they're going to play this game in Omaha, and UConn's only a 3-point favorite. So there's an 11-point difference in home court advantage there. So I mean, that's all that this is like where the game is being played is having a huge factor in this line. But even still, you're talking about a UConn team with the nation's longest winning streak that hasn't lost a game in 2 months. So I think I just have to go with the Huskies.
I mean, I think I do too. Again, like you said, they've won 14 straight. It's not only that, though. I mean, like what they did to Marquette was just like, whoa. Like they took care. I love Tyler Kolek. I love Shaka Smart. I like that team. Man, they got worked.
They did, yeah. Our guy Cam Jones from ECS, he actually had a decent game, all things considered. But yeah, it was ugly. It was ugly for Marquette. That's a good Marquette team too. So you basically what you're seeing is UConn right now. They are at the form that they had when they won the national championship last year. You remember they won every game in the NCAA tournament by double digits, and that's the kind of level that UConn is playing at right now in February. And so, do they peak too early? That's my only concern with UConn.
You know what, man? that is always something to be a little bit worried about. But as the way they just look like that well-oiled machine. Now, outside of UConn, there was pretty much everybody else. But then you have Houston last night looked extremely. Shed was awesome. The defense was suffocating. Both teams, by the way. Iowa State plays great defense. I mean, watching that game last night, I was like, wait a second. None of every single shot's contested. How do they do that? After watching Tigers play defense because they don't contest anything. Got to give them mad credit. Watching Purdue, Zach Edey's a bad man majama. I think that little kid, their little guard, was it Braden Smith? I'm also falling in love with this little kid. Like, he's tough. I feel like this is a better Purdue team. They look like they're legit. Arizona can score with anybody, not great at defense. You got to love Tennessee. Like, right now, who behind UConn, and you can throw out anybody. I mean, there's Alabama who's playing great basketball. Like, who are some of the teams that can actually go out there and make that run?
Yeah, there's a pretty good group of teams, and I still think Iowa State is among them. Nothing that happened last night detracted at all from what Iowa State is and can be. There's no shame in going on the road and losing a close game against Houston. And in fact, I watched that game and came away feeling as good about Iowa State or better than I did going into the game because of how they competed against that team in that building. So Iowa State's there. I mean, you want to go that list after UConn, teams that could get hot and get on a run and make the NCAA tournament. I think there's as many as 15.
15.
You go all the way down to all right, right now, Jerry Palm at CBS, he's got Illinois projected as a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Damn.
I mean, that Illinois team is good enough to win the national championship. And I think you could go all the way down to the 5 line, he's got Auburn on the 5 line. And I know Auburn's had a couple of clunkers recently, that Kentucky game, the Florida loss, but when Auburn is on, they are good enough to win it all. So, yeah, I'd go as many as 15 after UConn. It's just
hell, even Kentucky. You talk about Antonio Rivas when he gets going and Cal gets his guys going in the right direction. I mean, they are just as talented as anybody in the country.
Right, and then all right, let's keep it going. Then you go all the way down to the projected 7 line. FAU, they were in the Final Four last year.
Damn,
and they've got almost everybody back from that team. And I know they've slipped up a couple of times in the AAC. But they've got everybody back from a Final Four team, and they're going to be in the NCAA tournament. So, I would be tempted to take UConn over the field, but there are some really good candidates in the field, and anything can happen in March. And that list of teams that you could see in the Final Four is really strong, which reflects kind of where we're at. Because if you go and look at last year's Final Four, I mean, you randomly had San Diego State there, FAU, Miami.
By the way,
had never
San
been to a
Diego
Final
State
Four.
is still that team. What's his name, Ledee or whatever, the kid down low that looks like
Yeah,
a damn.
Jaden Ledee.
My goodness,
Yeah.
that dude could play defensive end in the National Football League right now, I really believe.
No doubt. I'm actually a believer in the Mountain West this season. I'm typically pretty skeptical of the Mountain West because we always hype them up and then they fall flat in the tournament. But I actually think it's a really good league this year. It's one of those leagues where, all right, you don't maybe have that like national title contender, but maybe San Diego State could fit that bill. And then there's about 4 or 5 other teams in that league that are going to be real dangerous too.
Are we supposed to be like, okay, out of some of the smaller schools, because, again, right now, March is around the corner, and like a lot of people are like, dude, it's the 20th of February, man. And like, there's usually like 28 days in this month, but we got that 29th thing that's going on, leap year action. I was trying to do dry February, and then I realized there's an extra day, and I was like, man, screw it. I'm not even going to try it. Not fair. But when you look at like the smaller schools, like is St. Mary's really that good? What about Dayton? Tell us like some of those small schools do you think that are like really scary? I know you like the San Diego State and stuff, but like what about St. Mary's? For some reason, I just can't believe in them.
Well, they were awful to start the season, but they've really turned it around. I believe in them because of Randy Bennett, who is their coach, and I know this isn't a team that we've seen make a deep NCAA tournament run, but they've been playing as well as anybody. In fact, I think they're right there with UConn for the nation's longest winning streak. It just depends on which day of the week they play their games because they're right there with UConn. So I do believe in St. Mary's. I mean, that's a program that Randy Bennett has built over the test of time. He's got them in a better place than Gonzaga right now. So I think you could see St. Mary's make the Sweet 16. And then Dayton, I think you should believe in, too. They've got an NBA prospect on their team, a potential All-American in Deron Holmes, who he's sort of your modern-day four-man who can stretch the floor or take you down low. He's got a really nice game, good defender, too. So name to watch for the NBA draft and a name to watch in March because Dayton's going to be making the NCAA tournament. And they are still trying to give vindication for the year when COVID called off the tournament because that was the team with Obi Toppin. That was going to be a number 1 seed and potentially have everything it needed to make a run.
Is Obi Toppin's brother, does he play for New Mexico?
There is a third Toppin out there. I can't confirm if he's related to Obi and Jacob, but Jacob Toppin was Obi's brother who ended up playing at Kentucky. I don't know about the kid at New Mexico, though.
He's just another big Toppin, and I was watching when they played San Diego State, and I'm like, man, is that Obi Toppin's brother, man?
Not related.
Not related. Thank you, Dacus. Hey, I just had to throw it out there because I have a question, and somebody else might have the same question. You never know. Also need to know something, man. How good is South Florida?
Pretty impressive. What Amir
Talk about
Bowles
winning.
has
What
done.
have they won? 11, 12 in a row?
Sure. Yeah, no doubt. Gosh, I think their only loss in the AAC was, I can't even remember, but I think they've only lost once in the league. Yeah, Amir Abdur-Rahim has just done an amazing job there. And it's funny because you go back and look, like, similar situation to St. Mary's, where if you were paying attention to them in November or December, you completely wrote them off. They were probably like sub 200 in the net. And now they can't stop winning. So I don't know that South Florida is going to have enough to make the NCAA tournament as an at-large team, but they could very well win the AAC tournament, or maybe if they get to the AAC tournament title game, maybe they do get to the big dance as an at-large. So, I mean, I don't even know where to begin with them. It sort of it defied explanation how South Florida has turned it around so quick. But Amir Abdur-Rahim, he's going to be, I think, of interest to other programs like right now.
Yeah, you think? Like,
yeah,
I just watching him last, I think it was Saturday or Sunday when I can't remember exactly when the game was, but like before the game, he's outside of the stadium going down and high-fiving everybody there in the stadium. Like, you can get on with I can back stuff like that. I like somebody who like cares about the kids, who loves to go out there and interact with the people. He's energetic, he's fun, and again, South Florida's playing out their mind.
Yeah, so absolutely. I mean, we'll see what jobs come open this cycle, but I mean, he'll be up there with a lot of Dusty May is going to get a lot of interest.
He's still. I'd rather go with my man Amir because, dude, Dusty's still, I think, just a little weird for me.
He is, yeah. And now you've got multiple jobs worth of evidence on Abdur-Rahim with what he did at Kennesaw State as well. So, that's a name to watch for in this coaching cycle.
And the crazy thing is, they were 2-4 to start the season. They've gone 17-1 since.
Yeah, it's incredible. It just goes to show, man. Anywhere in college basketball right now, you can turn things around in an instant because you have access to the same transfer portal that everybody else in the country has access to, and you don't need 3 or 4 years to get it turned around. I know some circumstances are different, and of course, over the long haul, to sustain a program, you're going to need that support, and you're going to need the NIL dollars to help keep your good players from transferring out. But my point is, what Amir Abdur-Rahim has shown at South Florida and what many other coaches around the country have shown is that you can flip that switch overnight and get a college basketball program turned around in a way that you couldn't before, in a way that you still probably can't in college football. And it makes it fun. It makes it interesting, and it shows you who the good coaches really are.
Who's better in the SEC, Revis or Connect? Who do you trust more?
Yeah, Dalton Connect. He's just a little bit more dynamic in what he can do. I mean, Antonio Reeves more of a 3-point specialist, I would say. He can get in to the lane and do the float game a little bit, but Dalton Connect, I mean, he can hit you with a floater or he can take it all the way to the basket. Dalton Connect will dunk on you. Antonio Reeves not quite that physical of a player.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
But his
stroke
is
SEC
nasty.
Player of the Year, man. SEC Player of the Year right now is Dalton Connect's award to lose. There's some other good candidates out there, though. There's no shortage of star caliber players in the league.
Last but not least, like who are the top 2 guards, and I'm talking about point guards in the country. Like who do you find to be the best ones? Period.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to look at Isaiah Stevens, Colorado State, kind of one of those guys that might get overlooked sometimes, but one of these players who's going to go down with almost every record in school history. He's the type of guy who could lead Colorado State to a big-time NCAA tournament victory, here in just a few weeks, really. So he's one to know for sure. Isaiah Stevens flies under the radar probably a little bit. And then what about Mark Sears, man, at Alabama?
He's finally getting a little bit of love, though, now.
He had Jaden Bradley transferred out, Javon Quinterly transferred out. I think there was a lot of skepticism over whether Mark Sears was going to be that dude, right? Whether he could be that dude for Alabama. That was my question about Alabama going into this year, was whether or not they had the horses in the backcourt. But Mark Sears has been really awesome for them. So him, Jared McCain at Duke, a freshman's been coming on real strong. Those are a few names that come to mind.
Yeah, Sears is a scoring little point guard too, by the way. My man can put the damn ball in the hole.
Yes, he can. So, yeah, there's really good guard play.
He's so little. That's another thing, though, dude, man. Like, some of these little guards trip me out how ridiculous they are. I mean, when I watch my man in North Carolina just kind of getting it done, like, damn, man.
R.J. Davis, I mean, he's been as good as anybody in the country this year for sure. So, yeah, man, it's all about guard play, as the cliches say this year or this time of year, right? So, yeah, it's good to have good guard play, and the teams that are going to be there at the end will certainly have that.
How many, last but not least, got a text here, says how many SEC teams get in the dance?
My number right now is 8. I think Palm has it at 9 at the moment, but you've kind of got 3 teams that are on the bubble. Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M, all 3 sort of on the bubble. I think 2 of those.
You're feeling pretty good about Florida then, huh?
Florida's played their way in. I mean, they're comfortably on the right side at the moment with victories over Kentucky and Florida in recent weeks. So, the Gators, man, don't sleep on them. I would say I got 2 sleeper teams out of the SEC. If A&M finds their way into the tournament, I think they could be dangerous. And then Florida, they're a team that hasn't been ranked really at all this year. They didn't do anything in the non-con, but they are really turning it on now in year 2 under Todd Golden, and they got some good players on that team. So I feel like Florida could be a real sneaky sleeper Sweet 16 team come Selection Sunday.
Man, David, I'm telling you, you are my college basketball dude. Like, I'm always reading your work at CBSSports.com. I look forward to Tuesdays because I love picking your brain. And again, tonight we're going with UConn because, damn it, how can you just bet against UConn? But what you got coming down the pipe over at CBSSports.com?
Interesting story. Looking at the programs that have lost the most to the transfer portal. How about this? Like, if you put the players that Texas Tech has lost on the floor together, it would be a roster headlined by Terrence Shannon at Illinois and Kevin McCullough at Kansas and about 10 other really good players. And anyway, so I got that dropping in like an hour. Yeah, it should be interesting.
Man, make sure you check that out. David, thank you so much for your time. Be blessed. We'll do it again next week, my brother.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
That is David Cobb. Follow him at David W. Cobb on Twitter. We're late for a break. Back in 2 Shakes, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's a new year, and Family Leisure has a new way to bring family and fun together. All you have to do is walk into Family Leisure and look around. All those floor model patio sets you see, those have got to go. So Family Leisure can make room for all the new sets coming. Get a wicker sofa set for under $2,000. Pool tables under $1,500. Theater seating for under $2,000. Hot tubs for $4,000 or just for yourself. If you really want to lounge, they're under $5,000. Need patio cushions? Get them as low as $25. Oh, have you seen those infrared steam saunas? Well, now they and the traditional saunas are 25% off. It may just be the first few weeks of 2024, but that doesn't mean you can't start getting ready for summer. 2 final things. Purchase your above-ground pool now and get first in line for installation, and take advantage of special financing that's available. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, bringing the family and the fun back together.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
It's leap year, so jump into big savings at Gossett Kia on the Pike. New 2024 Kia Forte LXS gets 41 MPG, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. How about 7-passenger seating? Get 2023 Kia Sorento LX, $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2024 Kia Telluride LX, $459 a month, $34.99 due at signing. All 36-month lease, and don't forget, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So call Bobby J to put you in a new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online anytime at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee. Forte RE722-812, MSRP 21,590. Sorrento PG 242710, MSRP 33,010. Telluride RG 462-822, MSRP 38,705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/29/24 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
All the wisdom of the universe is in these bones.
Now back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio. Brian Dagas is hanging with me, man. What's up, Dagas?
What's up, Johnny?
Man, we got a lot going on. We just talked with David Cobb. We talked a lot about some college basketball. One, because he covers it, and plus it's almost March, baby. We're getting ready. We're getting to them dog days of college ball. You better get ready. You got to figure out as much as you can because you got to fill out your bracket. And tonight's Tennessee's playing Missouri. I'm looking at that bad boy. Tennessee, 12.5-point favorite over Mizzou right now.
About that.
Tennessee's been awesome. The thing that's crazy, do you remember when Memphis beat Missouri?
And we all thought it was like going to be one of the marquee wins of the year.
Second half they had against that Missouri team. Their defense was stifling.
Yeah.
Missouri hasn't won a game in the SEC this year. Do you know that?
Yeah. Almost beat Ole Miss, though, the other night.
Yeah,
Ole Miss had to-
Ole
had
Miss
to win it down
loves
the
giving
stretch.
their fans heart attacks.
Sure do. I mean, hey, if the fans are gonna come out and pack the place, might as well give them a good game, right?
Might as well. BYU plays Baylor tonight, which is always still weird for me. They're like BYU in the Big 12. I'm still not used to.
BYU's like a 2.5, 3-point favorite.
3.5 point favorite.
Woo!
Baylor, though, that zone defense, if BYU's not hitting shots, they can throw that zone on you that is just stifling. I told you what they did to Oklahoma with it. Difference is, though, BYU seems like they actually run some stuff.
Yeah.
I know it sounds crazy. I got a lean already. I'm going to watch it, of course, and look for my markers. But, man, we're going to talk about in the very last segment today what our picks are, what our plays are. Just kind of make sure you find them out. And
Might be an over game.
We'll get it taken care of.
Just glancing at it.
154, I think, is the total. What was it? 150.
It's 154.
154.
That's kind of steep.
A little bit steep.
But these two of the best offenses in the country, according to KenPom.
And by the way, for all my favorite degenerates out there, or I call it let's say you don't do good in the 6 o'clock window, you do terrible in the 8 o'clock window. Well, at 10 o'clock on the old Deuce, St. Mary's, it's got San Francisco coming to town.
They should roll.
San Francisco's actually pretty damn good, bro.
21-6.
Yeah. 10-2 in the West Coast Conference. St. Mary's is catching 7.5 points. San Francisco's catching 7.5 points against St. Mary's.
Yeah.
I'll be checking that game out for all my favorite degenerates. Now we're going to switch gears up. We'll talk a little bit about the Tigers. We'll talk a lot about the Grizzlies. We'll break down what's going on in the NBA because we got Zach Boyd on the other side. But I do need to remind you of something very important. You want to look good? Yes, you do. Where do you go? Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road. It's down in Olive Branch. It's very simple to get to. Big Bang Boom, you're there. They got the largest boot showroom. If you need something for your feet, they got you. From like the steel-toed boots to the square-toed boots to the pointy boots. The Western boots, the work boots, dress boots, galoshes. Hey, dude, shoes. They got it all at Frontier Western Store. They got them for your children. They got them for your girls. They got them for you. They can dress your whole family from head to toe. Just make sure you get down to 5880 Goodman Road down in Olive Branch. Family owned and operated since 1967. By the way, not only can you head down to Frontier Western Store in Olive Branch, you can go online to frontierwesternstore.com. It's easy to navigate. You can shop by men's, you can shop by brands, women's, children's. You can shop by sales item. And once you place your order, they ship your order out within 24 hours, so it arrives extremely quickly. Plus, any order of $75 or more is shipped absolutely free. Frontier Western Store, frontierwesternstore.com. On the other side, we're talking hoops with Zach Boyd on Sports 56 98.5 FM.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better? I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
You know, in today's world, it seems the best treatment is reserved only for a few. Well, Discover wants to change that by making everybody feel special. It's why with your Discover card, you have access to 24/7 live customer service, as well as $0 fraud liability, which means you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases. Finally, no matter who you are or where you are in life, you'll feel special with Discover. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is, when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
You can do it all by yourself, baby girl. What's your name? Let me talk to you. Let me buy you a drink.
Spilled your drink? Quick, the Quicker Picker-Upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading ordinary brand. So you can get back to your night. Bounty, the Quicker Picker-Upper.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Now, back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio, hanging out with Dacus. Thank you to David Cobb. We talked tons of college hoops. CBSSports.com's David Cobb. That was a lot of fun. Now it's time to switch gears a little bit. We're going to talk a little NBA, a little Tigers, a whole lot of this, a whole lot of that. Don't forget, man, like right now, this time of the year is like, so after the Super Bowl, there's always that, like that first week where I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to know what's going on in college basketball before the field of 68? I got to learn. You get in there, you get it done. You got MLB, the hot stove's going on. You got spring training. I'm getting ready for all that. And don't forget, we're just 65 days away from the NFL draft. It's just so much things going on. I'm fired up about all these things. I mean, I just can't keep my head on straight. Is it because I have popcorn brain, Zach? And do you know what popcorn brain is?
No, I'm not aware of what is popcorn brain.
Popcorn brain is a new phenomenon that young kids today, because of their phones and their attention spans, that they aren't born with like ADHD, but they rewire their brains to where their brains or their synapses are firing like popcorn all over the place, and they can't focus on one damn thing. I'm just wondering, do you have popcorn brain?
No, they just need to put the phones down and actually do some work. That's what that sounds like.
Man, I agree. It sounds
like, I was born in the 90s, man. Like I was the generation that corporal punishment in schools was the last to hit. Yeah, I'm not coming on the airways and say you need to beat the kids or anything like that.
That's me.
I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, like, you know, when we had devices were early on in its, you know, in the earlier stages at least, like it was, if you're not off of those devices, you're getting a whooping.
Yes, I like that idea.
You're getting a whooping.
But I was just thinking about this, like when I was a child, how easy it was probably to raise kids back in the day, because I remember my dad would come home with a pack of baseball cards. Like a pack of baseball cards. That would entertain me for 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
Do you know what you would do if you gave a kid a pack of baseball cards today? Do you know what they would do with them? They'd be like, what the hell do I do with these?
They're all digital now, John. You get digital.
All right, so if you have baseball cards and they, quote, say they're worth something, do you need to sell them right now? Because
no, you hold on to it.
No,
you keep holding. Like, I mean, I'm just saying, like, my grandchildren, are they even going to know what a baseball card or care about actually touching one that's in the, you know, the plastic, and you open up your 3-ring binder and have all your cards in it?
Well, that might be better, because then they'll be more willing to sell it for a lot of money, and they won't want to hold on to it.
And especially if you tell them how passionate you are about it, and they know that you have that valuable card on you, then more than likely they might hold on to it, because they know that's your favorite card.
But if they're like you, John, and you say the word money and valuable, they might just go and sell it.
I got a lot of cards. I might need to sell them junks.
They might not
Might
be worth
need
anything
to.
right now, though.
Probably. Thanks, buddy.
No, I'm just saying if you hold on to them and pass them down, they'll be worth way more, and you could leave lifelong wealth to your grandchildren.
Speaking of,
I got daughters. You think my daughters are gonna be like looking at baseball cards, man?
Your grandkids, maybe.
Maybe.
I do have a grandson, but 2 granddaughters.
I do have my fair share collection of baseball and baseball, basketball, and football cards.
Yeah, I was never really into the sports cards. Connor, my brother, has like binders upon binders of old baseball cards. But I never really got
shoot. My
into
dad has them too, man. He's got so
know.
many of them, and I said shoot.
Yeah,
you're. I thought, yeah. You don't have to dump it.
I still have unopened boxes of basketball cards.
Really?
I still ain't got to.
Wow.
So
interesting.
I do.
That
I
might
have some
be
too that you can't open them because I got like the whole. Like Learfield, like one of these very rare packages, and I'm like, don't open them ever.
I'm very interested in doing that over the summer. That might be like one of my summer projects to do. Like, hey, let's open up some basketball cards.
The most recent cards I bought on Topps. They had like a special Deion Sanders card that's like him playing baseball and football, which I thought was cool. So I bought that, and I bought 3 Elvis Presley trading cards. So that's what I got.
All right.
I didn't realize Elvis had trading cards.
Oh yeah, Topps did a whole thing last year. They were selling them every week. I missed out on a lot of really good
Did
ones.
you know
but I did get
Elvis
a
was in
couple.
the Army? Was it the Army?
Yeah.
Yep, I knew that.
I heard about it.
Didn't actually do anything though.
Oh, he didn't?
Nah, he just over.
Did he walk around shaking his hips?
Did, yeah.
So he was literally Captain America before Captain America.
Pretty much. Singing Captain America, that's right.
Literally, he
That doesn't have
was
any
literally
superpowers.
singing Captain America.
That's right.
But he didn't go out and save any of the comrades.
No, he was never in battle. He was just in like basic training, and then
By the way,
after
hindsight
he
being
came back home and
2020,
just played a army member. In all his movies. Sorry, John. Go ahead.
But I was gonna say, hindsight being 2020, there is a lot you can learn from Elvis.
Like
drugs are bad. Remember, he was a sex symbol, like the biggest, greatest thing in sliced bread, and then all of a sudden they junctified him, and he got like 300 pounds.
Isn't it interesting? All the sex symbols die from overdoses. Michael Jackson, Prince.
Michael Jackson was never a sex.
I mean, not Michael Jackson. Elvis Prince. Elvis
Dude,
Prince. Excuse me. I'm
wait,
sorry.
I'm
sorry. Not Michael Jackson. Not
I'm
Michael
worried
Jackson.
about
I'm
you,
sorry.
bro.
Elvis.
It
and
never
Prince. Excuse
occurred.
me.
It
I was
never
thinking
occurred to
of,
me that Michael was a sex symbol.
I was thinking of Prince, and I always associate them together. Prince and Michael Jackson. They go hand in hand with each other.
Damn, I just can't stop.
Sorry.
I'm just going to be quiet and move right off of this one. And we're going to go back to the NBA. And I'm going to ask you this because I did not realize this. I've been
You heard that. I
in the
couldn't say
very
that on air, but
first
Zach saw what
segment.
I said.
I know what you. I know. So Sunday comes, Sunday goes. No big deal. Didn't talk much about the All-Star game. Kind of told him how I saw it in passing. Like, dude, Dame Lillard's hitting like 41-foot shots. Like blah blah blah. Again, it's more I think for the children or basically to celebrate these guys, let them know, hey man, you're the best at your craft. Yada yada. By the way, somebody just texted. Captain America is older than Elvis. By the way. And Elvis is dead.
Elvis is dead. That's great point.
Yeah, but it was more of a comparison, and I wouldn't call him like.
So Elvis is Captain America.
He's like our modern version of Captain America,
but not modern anymore because he's old.
Well, who's the version of Captain America currently?
I don't know. What's his name? Zach Bryan was in like the Air Force.
Who's Zach Bryan?
Who's he?
He's a country music singer. You aren't familiar with him?
I'm sorry, that's not my genre.
I mean, I like
or
all
was he in the
music.
Navy?
I just don't know.
That's
the
not.
name.
He's good. Y'all should give him a try. He's great. I don't like country music. Look, I'm telling you right now. I don't like country music. I get down with Zach Bryan. Oh man, he's good.
Well, my point.
Zach Brown or Zach Brown?
Zach Brown.
Brian.
Like Brian.
Oh, Zach Bryan.
Brian. There you
He's
go.
got 2 first names.
Sure. I have 2 last names. People tell me.
Bryant and Dacus. Yeah.
Thank you. Back to basketball.
BD's better than VD. I know that.
I guess so. And better than ED.
Yes, good point,
Thank
bro.
you.
I'm so proud of you. That was the most profound statement you've ever said on my show.
Thank you. You're welcome.
That was deep, brother. That was deep. But the NBA being a lot of people being extremely upset about there not being any defense in the NBA All-Star game. People were saying Adam Silver was so upset. There was like 400 points scored. Oh, my God. Why are people taking half-court shots with 6 seconds? I don't give a damn. It doesn't bother me very much. I'm just kind of curious. Why is it that the NBA All-Star game brings out more haters than it does people to actually celebrate the game in itself?
Because it's literally like a glorified. It's supposed to be a glorified pickup game. It's supposed to be the best glorified
pickup games. Like, you can get in a fight at a pickup. Go up to Mount Moriah and get in a pickup game, and let me tell you something. They're gonna play a little.
It's more. It's more civilized than Mount Moriah, just a little bit. But I think the idea is like you got the best of the best from the season. They all come together, form a team, and you expect them to kind of not to say go 100%, but like
play a little hoops.
Yeah, just play a little basketball. And
I mean, Memphis has been playing basketball for a while, and I haven't seen any more effort than I saw in the All-Star game when watching the Tigers.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the real city scene. I'm sorry.
Yeah, different. Yeah,
I thought you were talking about the real city scene. Right. Well, my mistake. No, the thing is, like, even like the last couple years, I have been noticing that there is a drop off. The one thing I would say is that I wish they never got rid of the Elam ending, because I think that brought some life to it. It's like, okay, cool, you got to score 24, like the next 20 or next 24 or next 8 points or whatever the case may be, because they turned it into the Kobe Bryant's number as the final mark, and so I'm like, okay, cool. Could have kept it and just say, hey, next 24-point scores wins the game.
I like that.
And I mean, the last couple of years, that it's always been like very competitive in that sense. I mean, I wish they would have kept it, and I wish they would just made the winner of the All-Star game get home field advantage in the playoffs. I mean, the finals.
Man, see, I've gotten to a point to where, like, the fact that it's in the regular season, in the middle of the regular season, and again, there are some great ways to maybe make the All-Star game better. Like, hell, put it in the end of the season. Because I'm just saying, could you imagine, and let's just go complete hypothetical, the Grizzlies this year, they're like they were last year in the 2 seed. They're playing mad, out of their mind. And Ja Morant, during All-Star break weekend, runs down the court 100 miles an hour, goes up for a dunk, and comes down and sprains his ankle. And then all of a sudden, our All-Star point guard's banged up because he landed on somebody's foot or, took a bad spill. Would you not go completely banana sandwiches and then hate the All-Star game because it just probably robbed you of your opportunity to go far in the playoffs?
No, I wouldn't hate it, because I think all the players kind of understand at the time, like, yo, we're not trying to hurt each other. This is, this all of this is just a pickup game.
But that's what I'm saying. When you play defense, there's a chance. I mean, you get up under somebody. I mean,
there is a little bit of a chance, but then there also is that respect factor to know, yo, we still got like 30 more games before actual real basketball kind of kicks in. Like, let's be competitive, but let's not toe that line. Not to say that once you get into the playoffs, we're going to cross that line as many times as you want, but it's just an awareness to be mindful.
I mean, I'm
those.
not saying the All-Star game you need to go out there like back in the day when the Pistons played with the Jordan rules and knock him down every single time.
No.
But like that does kind of happen in the playoffs, man. You take that guy and you make sure that he feels it.
Yeah. That's. I mean, a little pain doesn't hurt, but at the same time, who wants to have pain during an off week? So that's the only thing. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if you want to replace it, let's just do Kings of the Court.
I like what Updake's 3-on-3 basketball.
3-on-3 tournament.
3-on-3 tournament, half court.
You draft teams, kind of like what they did
draft
last year.
Yeah.
Draft 4 teams, have a little bit of a bracket.
Play to 24.
Yeah, play something like that.
Because what? It's 12 players on each team?
Yeah.
So it's 24. So you're talking about 8 teams of 3?
Yeah, you could do that.
8 teams of 4?
You could do that, and have a sub or something like that. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and then just half the court, and then just kind of like big three.
I mean, hey, I love that idea. And John even said you could like mic the players up during 3-on-3 pickups.
Make them check it
I'm
out.
for it. I'm for that idea.
I don't know if you can though mic those players up because were on television.
But dude, put it on the freaking Skinamax or HBO or any other channel that doesn't care about the bad words.
Listen, network television has the same dump button as radio.
By the way, in all
Very good
honesty,
point.
too, TV, like man, they'd be like, I was watching, what was it the other day? Which game was I watching where it was a women's basketball game, and the girl, I didn't mean to, but she got all fired up, and she's like, get up in that all up in her business, man. It was
Victor cursed on TNT the other day when he was talking
Wembanyama?
Yeah, when he was talking to the
Yeah,
guys.
he did.
He's like, what the are we doing?
Right. So, what are you doing?
And he thought there was nothing wrong with it, and like everyone else on set was like, ooh, and he was like, what'd I do?
I saw the video. I was like, he got away with it. And so I just kind of quote tweeted. I said, excuse his French. Man. Like,
That's great.
That's right. That's a good point.
Good tweet.
He didn't mean it, y'all.
It's a good tweet.
Excuse his French.
Now, by the way, did you hear Mike Conley got a $21 million extension?
He did. I'm happy for him. I'm always in favor of people getting paid.
Mike. Man, but like, no, it's also his Mike, man. Like, that's awesome. I mean, 2 years, $21 million. Dude's still getting paid. You think Greg owns somewhere going, damn. That man's still playing basketball. I couldn't even make it 2 damn years. And we played on the same team at Ohio State, and I went before him.
So he can't do nothing about it. His body kind of failed him. He can't do nothing about it.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying. He's got to be saying damn. But I'm telling you, when you're 7 feet tall compared to 6 feet tall.
But then again, I wouldn't say lifespan, but the career span of a big man is probably, 7-8 years in the league? Maybe. You might get to 10 because Greg Oden is 7'2".
Unless you're Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and then you're the freak.
I didn't get that. Well, did I miss something?
He like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He played forever, like 20 some odd seasons.
Oh yeah. I thought there was.
Yeah. Wilt played forever. I
Yeah,
mean, they're
but
like.
Will, we faked the 100-point game. What else did we
didn't fake a 100-point game, and he was definitely with 20,000 women. I'm guaranteeing you this.
Another thing we probably
You gonna call him a liar?
So a lot of love children.
Show me 20,000 women. Show me a 100-point game. I mean, really.
A lot of love children from Wilt Chamberlain, man.
Sounds like a life of lies.
You know what? But they're spectacular lies. They are lies. 20,000. Back to Mike Conley. No, congrats for him. Now, the reason I brought him up is because, dude, when you look at the West, and, I remember when Minnesota went out to the Clippers and really put it on them. For some reason, I could not believe in this team, Anybody with Big Cat on it, I couldn't take him serious. But as a team, after Big Cat had that complete debacle where he scored, 60-some-odd points?
Yeah.
And then they ended up losing it, and he had a terrible fourth quarter and got benched.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, I don't believe anybody's played better than the Minnesota Timberwolves. And just going forward right now, it sounds like crazy. I know Boston's great over there in the East and everything. But out the West right now, I feel like we're living in Minnesota's world.
Nah, I don't think so.
Man, you think what is it that they don't have?
I just don't believe that the current team that they have is sustainable. Like when playoff basketball happens, Gobert is not on the floor. Like you could play him.
Very good point.
You could play him off the floor. Like in the right team with the right personnel can make Gobert obsolete. And not to say, and I'm not sitting here trying to be a hater for the Timberwolves because I think the Timberwolves are a good team. I think they played really well. They figured out how to play with
they're
Cat
built for the
and
regular
with Gobert.
season. It sounds like what you're saying.
In my mind, yes, because that's the only way you get away with a two bigs lineup is during the regular season. In the playoffs, everything shrinks. Everything starts to magnify. Are you sure you want to leave? You want to have your 7'3" big man who is not really an offensive threat, is a 50-50, maybe 60% from the free throw line, out there on the floor guarding perimeter bigs when teams go small? I don't think so, especially if teams start to get hot. I just think Minnesota, they're very good. They're going to give some teams some fits because of how long and lengthy they are. I just don't think the two big system of Karl-Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert is not going to work. And because Karl-Anthony isn't a defensive-minded big or big that is even partially a good defender, like teams are just gonna they're gonna go up and down on them, and it's not and again like you having to rotate between Gobert and Karl-Anthony Towns, and you're setting yourself up, and that's why I've been against trading 3 first-round picks for Rudy Gobert. You're gonna be successful in the regular season, but when it comes playoff time,
what you gonna
you gotta you're talking about matchups. At that point, you're talking about matchups against other teams' bigs, especially mobile bigs.
In reality, the Nuggets are probably still the best team in the West, even though they only had. Did they only have one All-Star?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It is. Jokic is the only one.
Yeah, they're third in the West. I know Jamal's been a little bit banged up. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope's been a little banged up, but dude, Aaron Gordon playing out of his mind. Porter still hits them threes. Jokic is doing his thing. So if you're looking at the West right now, it's still Denver's world and we're all just living in it?
My mind, it is. In my mind, their offense. I mean, it's like they have cycled in some new role players in this season, but I mean, still their offense is still clicking, man.
You think Phoenix can make a nice run with that big three?
Maybe. I like I said at the beginning of the season, I'm not a fan of the big three, of having 3 dominant ball handlers and having all 3 of them figure it out. I'm just not. That's why, even though the Clippers are playing well, I'm still kind of iffy on them because they got 4 guys that all need the ball in their hands at different points of the game. So I'm not really sure on Phoenix.
So do you like so does that mean you kind of like the way that the Cavs are constructed?
The Cavs,
the Cleveland Cavaliers, of course. Like you got, Garland's got the ball, Mitchell's doing his things, but I mean everything else is kind of run through them. I mean Jared Allen ain't freaking tearing the ball up in his hands. You don't have a bunch of dudes who got to have the ball. They just basically are, running their system.
Mm-hmm. I think the Cavs. I kind of like how they're
constructed.
For the most, their starters constructed. Now their bench is like a whole nother thing. But if you can find a team that offensively, okay, here are the guys that we're gonna run through, and when you plug in some other role players in the lineup to kind of rotate, you're not gonna miss a drop off. It's not much of a drop off at least. So maybe even the Cavs, they've been dealing with a lot of injuries, so it's kind of hard to say if they can pull something off. But I mean, I do kind of like the fact that Garland is a pass first type of point guard who can go large if he needs to, but he's a deadly shooter when he's on. And then you obviously got your rotation of bigs with Mobley, with Allen. You throw in a Dean Wade, who is kind of a point forward type of dude. Max Strus, who they brought over from Miami, and a I guess a 6-man in Karis LeVert. I mean, it's possible, but they haven't been on the court long enough for me to say, okay, yeah, Cleveland could make another run at this.
All right. We've been talking about the NBA. Vince Williams Jr., Gigi Jackson. Who's your bigger man crush?
It's hard, man. This is hard.
I know. Hard. Hey, listen, you're a one-man kind of guy. You can't date them both.
Can I just take them both out, tell them that they're pretty, and just kind of keep them moving, man?
Risky business, Zach.
It's dangerous, bruh. It's how somebody like Lorena Bobbitt becomes famous.
In my mind, because my favorite player right now in the NBA is Jason Tatum, and the type of player that Jason Tatum is, I just love his game. I love just the fact that he's just this 3-level scorer, and it's hard to defend him. And I feel like y'all kind of know my answer in this. Gigi Jackson has that potential to be that type of dude.
Yeah, the dude.
And I am thoroughly excited, but at the same time,
the Big Lebowski.
I am excited, but at the same time, I am terrified. Because if this dude becomes one of them dudes, it's a great problem for the Grizzlies to have. But then once his contract ends, and hopefully in 3 years, he doesn't. You know,
need to Alex Anthopoulos his ass.
Oh no, that I don't want to.
I'm just saying, go give him a little something over a little bit of stretch to appease him, man. Like, I mean, I know the NBA is completely structured different, but man,
Right. I want I want him to get paid for what he's worth. Don't get me wrong. But if he turns into one of them dudes, then the conversation starts to get a little difficult about who get what money. And I don't want to think about that at the moment, but
his ceiling though seems so beautiful. I mean,
it's
19
so much
year olds,
fun.
that body as big as he is, athletics, got the 3-point shot, can 3-level score. A guy whose game he's just rounding into form. I mean, again, he was last year at South Carolina as a 17-year-old kid. And again, the other thing about him is I just love the fact that he's got a big chip on his shoulder from being the 45th pick in the draft. He wears the number 45 for that reason, to remind him every single night. But yet he has the cojones to go out there and compete with Giannis right to his face. Like, I love what I'm seeing from the young fella. Like, I want this problem.
Scoring the basketball for Gigi Jackson looks so easy. Like, it's just so effortless. It looks so effortless. Like over the
and when they went down by one, when they're playing the Bucks, and it looked like there's no way that they were going to hold on. The Bucks storm back. Giannis goes down, gets the bucket, gives them their first lead of the night. And I mean, I'm talking 10 seconds later, once the ball hit his hand and he pops that three, and it was
corner three,
just pure as anything. And he got that jump off so fast. It was like, dude, he wasn't even thinking. He was knowing, give me the ball in this corner because I'm gonna bury this jump.
Yeah, and there was a clip of him during the All-Star break. He was, I guess, back home in the gym working on his 3-point shot, and I was like, in my mind, I was like, I can't believe the Grizzlies about to have a homegrown sniper. They're developing a homegrown sniper on this team, and the kid is only 19. Like, I dream for days like this for a versatile wing that can do multiple things, and it's like slowly but surely it's starting to come around, and if I can just so happen to get my hands on that Zachary Reicher kid from France. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, his last name right.
Good enough, right?
It's good enough for now. If I get my hands on that kid, and then we figure out what this center position is.
I was gonna say that's the problem. I mean, would you be more comfortable with going and getting like a vet, or would you rather be like see? Because I guess I know the age of Gigi Jackson and Ja and Desmond and Tripp and all that stuff.
Yeah,
like a lot of people love Kyle Filipowski over at Duke and stuff. Are you wanting to like package something up and getting a vet guy down there, or do you want to bring somebody in?
I wish I could do both. I want both because I want the option of let's
My
develop.
man's been wanting his cake and eat it all day.
You don't understand. Like it's been rough, man. I want both. But if I had to choose, I'd rather go the veteran route because then you don't have to put in a lot of money into getting paying a player for a long time. But the only downside is you got to figure out whether you want to put a center next to Jaren or not. That's the only thing. And right now, Jaren at the 5, he's holding up for the most part. It's just he just don't have his guys around him to kind of alleviate some of the offensive pressure for him. But I think getting a veteran center, I think that's the route that I would go. And then we'll see about this upcoming draft because I think this upcoming draft, not this draft,
next year
in 2025. I'm curious to see what 2025 is looking like. But if not the case, then we'll probably look at some of these undrafted guys. Obviously, they can always go find some guys overseas that could play. But if I had to choose, if my way, I'd rather do both. But if I had to choose, I would go the veteran route.
Well, we didn't even talk about the Tigers.
Well, we don't have to
because, I was going to say, there's no reason to.
We spend this segment talking about the.
We don't have to. Listen, fellas. When they played SMU on Sunday, I went to the gym.
Pony up.
I'm not doing that. I went to the gym. I went to the gym on Sunday because I knew that they were playing to that day, and so I figured, well, let me.
You just didn't want to be in a bad mood. I get it.
I didn't want to be in a bad mood. Let me not put myself in a situation where I am just in mental angst because I'm watching the game and things are not going right and they're just breaking down defensively. I was like, I don't want to watch any of that. Let me just kind of just work on myself, make sure I'm feeling good.
Self-help.
I'm keeping tabs with it, and if it gets out of hand, which it did, I can just tune it out and be like, all right, we're gonna have a good day. Let's hop in the jacuzzi to kind of, ease the muscles a little bit. And let's go home.
Man, it's better. That was better than what I did on Sunday because I was frustrated as hell.
I know. Y'all gotta be careful with your mentals, man. I don't want Tiger Nation to pop a blood vessel, man. Watching the games. Gotta be careful. I'm not saying not to support them. Please don't take this as, this is a personal.
I think I said that on Sunday, didn't I?
You definitely said that on Sunday.
I was like, if you got season tickets, please don't go.
You definitely said that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you can go support them, but just be mindful. Like, I don't want you to hurt yourself out there. Just please take it easy.
Take care of your mental faculty and always listen to Zach 7 to 11 right here on Sports 56. He joins me every single Tuesday at 12. We're going to take a quick timeout. Got Hardwood and a few bets on the other side. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You know, sometimes I wish I had a gun.
Well, I'm armed, but before I bought one, I still went to Top Gun Academy to learn to protect myself without a gun.
How is that possible?
Top Gun's personal protection training. It's perfect if you want to protect yourself without firearms.
I don't know.
And it's perfect if you feel the need to carry a gun for self-defense, because the last thing you really want to do is shoot.
That is scary.
Not at Top Gun. It's very comfortable, and you learn to load, handle, and shoot a handgun safely. Protect yourself. Go to Top Gun Academy. They're at 2770 Witten Road.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Does your current trophy wife want a life insurance policy 3 times the size of your previous mistakes? Relax and call Big Lou at Term Provider. Big Lou says if you're in your 50s, even a bit porky, a $1 million term life policy should only cost about $200 to $300 per month. Call Big Lou at 800-529-2856. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He likes trophies, too. For affordable life insurance, call 800-529-2856.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry, and they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Bartlett Small Engine has free pickup and delivery both at your home and curbside for lawnmowers, blowers, edgers, and any small engine. Call 901-386-9779.
All the wisdom of the universe is in these bones.
Now back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio. Happy Tuesday, man. Happy Tuesday. 2 for Tuesday. Taco Tuesday. What else is a good What else for Tuesday? Tito's Tuesday. Man, this was a trick question and you failed.
Wow, I'm sorry.
When you're going 2 for Tuesday, that was the whole thing because, man, you get a little Tito's 2 for 1 action somewhere maybe. Ooh, that's a great life. But if life hands you lemons, you never freak out. You never fret. You never stress. You just make a lemon drop. Always make sure it's with the best. That's Tito's handmade vodka. It is a 2 for Tuesday. It is a Taco Tuesday. And guess what? Tito's goes great with tacos. Absolutely. In fact, it goes great with everything because it's slightly sweet with that black pepper note. It balances everything out. Doesn't matter if you're crafting a cocktail, drinking it neat, eating it with tacos, eating it with some pasta, maybe eating it with pizza. Or maybe eating it with a Dyer's hamburger. I don't know. Tito's goes with everything. So make sure you get the best, and that would be Tito's. Handmade vodka. Let's go to Hardwood.
This is Access Hardwood.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Did you see Breece Hall, get basically accosted by a fan at the airport?
I did not, no.
So the thing that was kind of wild about this whole confrontation, do you watch the TMC Sports?
No, I do not.
You're not up at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night or whenever it comes on.
I am. I just don't watch it.
You just don't watch that one?
No.
Kind of gives me a lot of wood for the next day.
I believe it.
But, man, they were showing this, and, this dude walks up okay, so when you go to the airport, you usually got, some comfy clothes on, you're a little bit agitated, you've been traveling all day, probably had a few cocktails because the only way to order a drink at an airport is you always have to get their special because it's usually $12 a drink, or we can make it a double for just $5 more. So everybody's drinking doubles.
I see.
That's the way you have to do it when you go to the airport. So you got a little alcohol, you're a little agitated, and it's a pain in that. It's a pain. You gotta take your shoes off. You got to go through this. The guy's got to pat you down. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not it's just not the easiest thing in the world.
I see.
So if you see somebody famous in an airport and they're waiting there for their baggage, how about you not go up to them and hound them for an autograph?
Right.
Just kind of how about you get your own stuff and get the hell out the way? Airport, keep moving. It's kind of it's very fluid. That's what the airport is. Planes in, planes out. People dropping off, people leaving their stuff. You know what I mean? Keep it fluid. Don't stand there and accost somebody. But my man, dude, goes up there and this thing could have got out of hand really, really quickly because the dude got really aggressive. And then all of a sudden you could see finally where Breece Hall got a little bit ticked off of it and was about to, probably smack him. Because he did threaten to slap the man in the face.
Wow.
And that's when Carl Banks was able to jump in between them and kind of break up the fight. So good job on you, Mr. Carl Banks. And I'm just, man, that. I don't know, man. I was just trying to say, people, don't hound other people for stupid stuff.
Well, something similar happened over the weekend to Micah Parsons. He was at a hotel.
Really?
I think maybe either coming or going to the All-Star game. And said that there were grown men waiting outside for him with pictures and helmets for him to sign, and there was this lady that was following him around the
if it's a woman that was following him around,
yeah.
Dude, I would feel a little bit more honored. I'd be annoyed if it was some chubby fat dude.
Well, but he said there was a bunch of people standing there waiting on
autograph.
him. There was this lady that kept following him around with the Dallas Cowboys helmet, and he was like, people, I'm just trying to get off my flight and go home, and y'all are hounding me, let me have some space. And it's basically the same thing, but he didn't threaten to slap him.
Well, again, sometimes, if you threaten to, hey man, don't make me slap your face off.
Hey, nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying nothing's wrong with it.
All right, now I need to know something. Is John Daly somebody who is a fabulous liar, or is John Daly just fabulous? Had this conversation the other day. So John Daly, a lot of people like to walk the walk and talk the talk, right? Mm-hmm. Well, he has this stuff called Good Boy Vodka. He says it's the best drink you should ever have, yada, yada.
I'm sure it is.
And he's like, oh, I love this stuff, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, he came up there and he was asked, how many of these bad boys can you drink in a day? And he's like, oh, I could guzzle down 40 of them. And now this is a guy who's drank copious amounts of alcohol throughout his life. But 40 is still a lot. And he was saying all that stuff. He's like, I can drink 40 of these in a day and never have a regret. And he talks about how, he can do a whole bunch of stuff. He's like, man, I once drank 3 bottles of vodka. Again, and now these are some very weird brags. You know what I'm saying? These are... it's basically hey, I don't know if you know this, but I'm an alcoholic, and that's awesome. That's kind of it's a different brag. But there was another take. Some people were going, dude, what am I seeing? This is such BS. This dude ain't drinking 40 dead gum good old boy vodkas a day. He ain't drinking 3 liters of vodka. My man would be dead. So he's just basically a liar is what they were saying. Do you believe John Daly can drink 40 of these a day and drink 3 liters of vodka if he need be? Or do you just think he's a big old fibber?
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe? I don't know if that's an answer of anything.
I think he's liar.
Do you?
Yeah. I'm not the biggest John Daly fan. So.
Well, let me just tell you something. You know what? When you get about 30 of them in you, you're probably going to boast a little bit. Everything gets exaggerated on alcohol.
Absolutely.
So I would say he's probably not a liar. He's just an extreme exaggerator.
I believe that.
I kind of like that one better. And then we talked about fights. Did you see the brawl? You were, was it you and Jay Morgan who one day went off about how the dumbest thing in sports is the handshake line?
It's ridiculous. The handshake line, it's the worst thing in sports.
I kind of actually went out there and said, I like sportsmanship.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of sweet.
Right. Yeah.
Man, you know what? I'm wrong. I was wrong. At least you know what a big man can do? He can admit when he's wrong.
That's
Damn
right.
and I'm a big man. Not like physical stature. I'm very
okay. Yeah.
fit. No, just kidding. No, but for real. This is Incarnate Word.
Yeah.
And what was the other little school?
Texas A&M Commerce.
Texas A&M Commerce.
Sure was. Yep, sure was.
Bro, they were in the line, and this thing broke out for about a good 2 minutes. Did it not?
Yeah, I was watching
a
the
young
game.
girl got injured.
Yeah.
One of the ball boys or whatever you call them, the managers, had blood dripping from his face.
Yep.
The coaches got involved. The whole teams got involved. It went from the shake-up, like the handshake line, to everywhere in the whole arena.
It's crazy.
It was wild. It was wild. Now, I will say there's no place for this in college sports.
Right.
Terrible. But I promise you I wouldn't be talking about Incarnate Word and what's the other school?
Texas A&M Commerce.
Texas A&M Commerce.
Yeah.
Without it.
It's awesome.
It was
it was bad, but it was crazy.
Do we keep the handshake line so we get this once a year? Because this is probably the worst fight of the year. But there's been a couple.
Honestly,
there's been a couple kerfuffles.
I don't remember a fight that was that bad in a while.
I haven't seen one in a while.
That was rough.
This made the Malice of the Palace. This was up there, except for where they weren't fighting fans.
Right, they weren't fighting fans.
But
they were
the
just fighting each
chaos
other.
that was going on.
But, it
was
started on
just
one
as
side of the
wild.
court, went to the other side of the court. We got guys fighting all throughout the half court. It was wild. It really was.
And then also there was this thing called the Daytona 500.
Daytona.
That bled into Monday. There was a huge wreck. Did you hear about it?
You always get the big one at Daytona. We had the big one.
23 cars basically bounced off each other, and they all got knocked out of that joint.
Sure did.
When did that thing finally end?
It ended at about 7-ish, and then the Xfinity Series race went off at about 8. So yeah, it was a whole afternoon of racing. Actually, funny enough, I
just want to know who won, because this is what's so weird for me. Who won?
Byram something.
William Byron?
William Byram, yep, that's his name.
Really?
Yeah. Good racer.
Good job, William.
How about this, John? I had a bet placed for 2 different racers, one to finish in the top 5, one to finish in the top 10. They were second and third, going with 2 laps left. They wrecked into each other. Both got out.
They actually both hit each other?
And they were the only 2 cars involved in the wreck, and the race ended at that point, because if you have a wreck in the last 2 laps or something like that, the race ends or something like that. I don't understand all of it, but I just know that they ended the race after that, and I had 2 guys would have won with both of them if they had just stayed clean, and they did not.
One other thing I needed to bring up. So, you know the Facebook guy, Mark Zuckerberg, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, Marky Mark.
No, that's Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Oh.
Technically, his name's Mark Wahlberg.
I see. Interesting.
And he was an underwear model, too.
Also a owner of a restaurant.
Who?
Mark Wahlberg.
Is it called Wahlburgers?
They
Is
did
it
a show
really?
about it, yeah. Yeah. Him and his brothers, they own it.
Not bad. Is it any good?
I couldn't tell you.
Well, where the hell are they located?
Up in the Northeast, I think.
All right.
If they're still even open, I have no idea.
I forgot what. Oh yeah, Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, so my dude's a billionaire, right?
Wow, there's one in Tennessee.
Oh really?
Go ahead. I'm so sorry, John.
So dude's a billionaire. He's He's old. I mean, he's not old, but he's a billionaire. He's super rich. What is it about him in the UFC? Have you noticed how he's gotten all up in this joint?
Yeah, John, he walked out with somebody at the UFC fight over the weekend.
Like, yeah, I don't know their names, man. I don't know who he was. But yeah, he was at the event. He's doing his things. And like a bunch of the fighters are talking about him. And now they're saying that they think Mark Zuckerberg is going to be in a UFC fight eventually.
Really?
Would this be something that is straight up 100% promotion, or do you actually think Zuck could actually get in the octagon and cut it up?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Man, I'll tell you one thing. And if I'm a fighter, I would love to bust up a billionaire too. You know what I'm saying?
Would you?
It would just make it feel a little bit better.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, jealousy.
I guess so.
Gives you a little extra
There was in that
motivation.
UFC fight in the prelims, a guy from Memphis fought and he won. How about that?
Good job for the Memphis man. But
Sorry,
man,
I
if that
forget his name.
billionaire ever fights, I actually think I'm going to have to watch it.
John-
'Cause I'll be rooting for him to get just pummeled.
John, how about this? I looked up Wahlburgers.
Because he invented Facebook,
He did.
the worst thing that ever was invented.
John, how about this? I looked up Wahlburgers and I told you that there's a location here in Tennessee.
Is it in Memphis?
It's in Memphis.
Where?
It's in the Pyramid at the Bass Pro Shop.
Get out of here.
I'm serious.
So I have to go in the Bass Pro Shop to get it?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, you know what? If I'm ever downtown.
Also, Dwayne texts in and says drink for free with the airline club, and when you're at the airport. So maybe just keep that in mind.
Dwayne, text back 901-360-8255. I would like to know how to be a part of the airline
I think you
club.
have to sign up. I don't know.
Drink
I always
for
hear
free
people
at the
say that like,
airline
oh
club?
yeah, I have I have the Delta. I'm part of the Delta Club, and so I get to go to their bar while I'm waiting for my
I'm
flight.
cheap. I'm
and
part of
drink.
like the American Airlines Club or something. We got to take a quick break. Yes, and there's also texters saying that Elon Musk was going to fight.
Yeah, whatever happened to that?
Mark Zuckerberg. Elon's probably full of it. Zuck's full of it. They're probably just doing a promotional thing. But I'm talking about this dude was saying Henry Cejudo or whatever his name is. He's a UFC fighter. Was saying that Zuck is going to fight a UFC dude in the octagon. Like. It's gonna happen, and I'm just like, dude, he's gonna get pummeled, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna take a quick timeout. We got bets on the other side. Don't touch the dial. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the Heindel Center for the Performing Arts for an evening with Cal Ripken Jr. February 22nd and celebrate a true champion. Ironman Cal Ripken Jr. played 2,632 consecutive games for the Baltimore Orioles. This 19-time All-Star, 2-time American League MVP, and Baseball Hall of Fame inductee is a true baseball icon. Get tickets at HeindelCenter.org to see Cal Ripken Jr. 7:30 p.m. Thursday, February 22nd at the Heindel Center for the Performing Arts on the campus of Northwest Mississippi Community College in Senatobia.
East Memphis Ace Hardware is more than just a hardware store. It's really a customer service store. With 20 employees along with complete inventory of items, big to little, finding what you need is easy. Choosing from a complete selection of Big Green Egg as well as Traeger and Weber grills. And the Garden Center has everything for your yard. You can get glass cut, repair screens, even new keys with key fob programming. Tools, nuts, bolts, screws, you need it, East Memphis Ace Hardware has it. And they're just down the street at the corner of Quince and White Station.
All 650 acquisition fee. Forte RE722-812, MSRP 21,590. Sorrento PG 24,2710, MSRP 33,010. Telluride RG 462-822, MSRP 38,705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/29/24 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Hey, Jeff Allen, you ready to get this party started at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
You bet I am, Randy. Gossett's got your new Kia that gets 41 MPG highway. 2024 Kia Forte LXS, $239 a month. $27.99 due at signing. Need extra room? How about a 2023 Kia Sorrento LX at $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing, and a 2024 Kia Telluride S all-wheel drive, $459 a month, $34.99 due at signing, all 36-month lease.
Plus, get peace of mind because with every Gossett Kia, you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or online, KiaMountMoriah.com.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood.
I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
The only power source capable of generating 1.21 gigawatts of electricity is a bolt of lightning.
Now, back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio, hanging out with Bryant Dacus. I do want to remind you, Top Gun Memphis, man. It's the largest indoor range in the Mid-South, but size isn't their only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun's affordable. Gold membership's just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for unlimited range time, 7 days a week. Free gun rentals with the purchase of ammo and members lounge access. Top Gun, 2770 Whitten Road and TopGunMemphis.com. Always shoot with the best. Always shoot with Top Gun Memphis. I'm shooting my shot tonight. Talking about basketball games, gambling. Like, I'm not going out and picking up somebody or
No. We knew
the other shot.
We were hoping we knew what you were talking
But
about.
Missouri is 0-12 in the Southeastern Conference. They are terrible. I'm going to set my mark. If I can get Tennessee, if it starts off, Missouri comes out a little bit out the jump. If I can get Tennessee, because currently they're a 12.5-point favorite, if I can get them anything under 9, I'm going to take it. And then tonight, take Texas A&M, lay the 12.5. They're going to smoke them. For Bryant Dacus, I'm John Harden. That's my time. Peace.
Memphis basketball is working towards March with 2 big home games coming up. It's a blackout with the first 3,000 fans receiving a free black t-shirt for the game against Charlotte on Wednesday, February 21st at 7 o'clock. And then a big-time matchup for revenge against Florida Atlantic on Sunday, February 25th at 1 o'clock for the Stripe Out. Limited tickets remain for the Florida Atlantic